So let's start with a little greeting.
Greetings. What?
I was thinking more like, hey everyone.
Salut, I'm Patrick.
And I'm Beth.
We're fixing up an old townhouse in the Loire Valley of France, uncovering history and trying to solve mysteries.
We're creating our home in a space for art workshops. Come on along.
So hi y'all, thanks for tuning in to our Q&A video. We got about a dozen questions from people on our Instagram and YouTube. So thanks to all of you who submitted some questions. Some of them are overlapping and kind of the same question. So it won't actually take that long to get through all these. Should be a nice little discussion. And we're gonna start with Karma Comes Crawling on Instagram. Asked, you don't have to answer, but how old are the both of you?
Oh wait, we don't have to answer that one.
And where did you meet?
Oh.
I don't mind answering. I'm actually 47.
Right? 47.
I was born in 76. Yes, and my birthday is in a couple weeks on November 2nd, so I'll be 48. And
Yep.
you are?
I'm 37, so robbing the cradle. As you can see, I'm more like 53 years old.
And we met here in Austin through a mutual friend. I had just moved here to attend college at the University of Texas, and Patrick had just graduated from the University of Texas, and that mutual friend knew we were both here, thought we would like each other, and introduced us. So
We did like each other.
we did like each other. So thanks, Lainey.
It was the 90s.
It was. Yeah, we don't have to go into that.
Yeah. Was it difficult? It's this one.
Oh yeah, Paulina PPP asks, was it difficult with the bureaucracy in France, buying a house as non-French?
No, it was not, because we had an agent who worked with us, and we can recommend that agent, by the way. So this is somebody who is American, and they live in France. They understand how the whole system works, and they work you through the whole process. You also have your own notaire. The notaire is like the, I guess, escrow agent, but it's much more involved in that. So we had our own working with us as well, so our own advocate. And the process is not really more bureaucratic than buying a house in the United States. There's just there's a lot of stuff, a lot of very good information, but it's basically a contract, and then insurance, and you pay your money, and that's it. So there's time that you have to wait for all kinds of, I guess, inspections and things like that, and rounding up signatures and things. But no, it wasn't that bureaucratic. It was actually pretty straightforward.
It just took a lot of time.
There's a lot of waiting, but
yeah, months, 3-4 months.
yeah, well, up front you wait anywhere from 1 month to 3 months for I guess them to essentially do what we call a title search. They have to go back and look at who owned the house, and if you think about it, it goes back centuries. So they have to make sure that it's clear, and there are multiple parties involved. Some properties, I've heard there's nightmare stories, but then some, like ours, was very straightforward. So, yeah.
Yeah, and then the other thing was, as non-French people, we actually didn't even have to be over there for the closing. With the agent that we worked with, we signed power of attorney to the notaire for the sale. And so they did we were on a video call with the family that was selling the house, and then their agent, our agent, and the notaire, and that's how we did the closing. So that was pretty convenient.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, pretty easy. My new pal Melanie from Let's Buy a Chateau left a question. She and I have been chatting a lot online. She's also, her family is also an American family moving over to France that has just bought an old house. And so if you want to check out what they're doing, it's Let's Buy a Chateau, and we'll link to it in the comments. So Melanie asked, what was your French house hunt like? So for us, it started during the early days of the pandemic when we were stuck at home, going bored out of our minds, going stir crazy because nothing, we couldn't do anything, nothing was open, things weren't happening. And so we were doing a lot of like daydreaming about getting to travel again someday and things like that. And we found this show called Escape to the Chateau, which I'm sure most of you have watched. And the spin-off Chateau DIY, and then all the YouTube channels that the people that were on that show have. And so we got the bug for buying a chateau in France at first. And then the more we watched the shows and saw the realities of it, the more we realized we don't want that. Because yes, you can buy these amazing old buildings for so cheap, but they need usually millions of dollars of work and upkeep and maintenance, and you have to have a business that will bring in money to help you with the upkeep and roof repairs and things like that. So most people have to turn them into a wedding venue or something like that, and we didn't want that. We narrowed our scope a bit. We decided we could still buy a really cool old house, just on a smaller one. And so we started the house hunt from here online, just poring over real estate websites and things, and starting to make contact with people, with agents. And at first we weren't getting a lot of response because French agents don't take you seriously if you're, in a foreign country. They don't expect that you're really gonna that you really have intent to purchase, and so they don't want to waste their time, understandably. So we were really getting nowhere with emailing and trying to call people and stuff until we signed on with an agent that we'll tell you about later, and they helped us. They did a lot of the legwork for us, and so they'd help us set up appointments to go and visit houses when we were over there in France, and that's how it all happened. And the whole process was probably about 3 years from when we first started thinking about it. Made a couple trips to France, and then signed on with this agency, and then they helped us narrow down our search and start really looking seriously and figuring out what we wanted.
Yeah, but backing all the way up a little bit, we knew during the pandemic we wanted to change, so we looked and thought about moving somewhere in Europe, and I have European family, so we've been to places, and so we started thinking about where we can move. We decided to take a trip to France, to return to France as adults, essentially, older adults, and really see if it is a kind of place that we would like to live, but also if people would want us to live there. So, and we found it to be a pretty lovely place. So once we thought about France, then we took the trip and we looked around. Then we started looking at properties, and we knew almost from the beginning that a chateau was not in our future. That just, it's fun to think about, but
we did visit one.
Yeah, we visited one, and we were probably the 100th person to visit that. It was not something anyone should buy, but we always had our feet on the ground. And just because you can have your feet on the ground and still do something silly like tour a chateau and think, oh, I could buy this, and look at your bank account and go, yeah, I could get this, and
but each one you visit, you learn a lot about what things are like,
including the houses that we looked at.
Yeah, what type of houses there are, what different towns are like.
Yeah, the French. One of the charming things is that they are still old-fashioned, and so we got less than 50% responses to emails we'd send to agents.
Less than 25%.
Okay, very little. Once you have an agent though that is working with you and is in that country and they speak the language and they have the experience, well then everything changes. So you really need to have an agent. And this is not an advertisement for an agency. It just, that's how it works for us and other people is.
And they also did, because being here in the States, it's expensive and it's hard to make a lot of trips over there. So once we signed on with that agency, they did a lot of the legwork for us, including checking out some of the towns we thought we were interested in and video calling with us to show us what it's like.
Yeah.
And then also doing some initial visits for us and taking video, and then we'd be like, no, we don't think that one's quite right. So we didn't actually have to make another trip until there was something really good we really thought was a good match.
Yeah. Well, that just reminded me of the story of the way we landed on Amboise was we were on a video conference on WhatsApp with our agent, and she was going to show us virtually a couple properties. So it was her with the seller agent or representative agent, and we went through, and it was shaky video and all this, and then she's like, I'll call you back or something, and then she's called back, and it was just audio, and she was like, yeah, I'm just having some lunch. I'm in this town, this other town in the Loire Valley, Amboise, and you might really like this place. And she says, I'll look around and see what they got. And then she actually found some listings that, like, a few days later, we synced up, and the house we ended up buying had been on the market. We had already looked at it.
We'd seen
because it had been on several agencies, and we had kind of flipped past it because the pictures weren't right. Like we thought, no, probably not. And
but there was a picture of the library, and that kept calling to us.
Yeah,
that fireplace.
Yeah. But it was our agent who, again, no cultural barrier. Like just somebody we got along with really well. It just was having lunch and said, hey, you would like this, and it was.
Because she knew we were looking for a place
Yeah.
with energy, with people around,
Yes.
with things going on.
Right, and a house.
And she knew we wanted to be like in the center of town where we could walk everywhere.
Yeah.
And so she knew it was the right size, and it had all the incredible art and history with the Leonardo da Vinci connection, which we knew nothing about at the time. We hadn't heard about that at all. And so when she mentioned that, we were like, that sounds interesting.
Maybe, yeah.
And we looked at it. We spent a lot of time walking around it on Google Maps.
Oh yeah, you can do a lot.
Yeah,
a lot, so.
Google Street View and stuff, and we're just like, wow, this is really cool.
Yeah, and it worked out. Cut.
Okay.
JoJo's joined us.
Yes, this is our little
Our
buddy.
little dog JoJo.
Oh, I gotta put my glasses on for this one because it's the teeny screenshot from, these other questions are from YouTube, from our community page.
All right.
So this one is from, God, it's really small. Biba SD. I can't really tell what it is, but they asked, what's the best thing about living in France and the best in Austin? This is a multi-part question.
Yeah.
Any family that lives in France? Are you planning to travel more through France? And where's the first place you want to go? So what's the best thing about living in France, Patrick?
Let's see. I mean, obviously, the history, the culture, the food, the art, that goes without saying. I think, honestly, it's the pace of life and the quality of life is just completely different. And it's exactly what I'm looking for at this stage in my life. It's just people there seem to value the same things I do, which is just enjoying life, slowing down, and really just focusing on the quality of things, and I don't know, just being content with what they have, I suppose. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I love about France.
Yes, I love all those things too. And also, I do have to talk about the art a little bit more. I'm an artist myself and a very visually oriented person. So to me, what's amazing about France is that it's a culture of people that are really aesthetically motivated. They love for things to be beautiful. They appreciate beauty in both the grand things like cathedrals and government buildings, but also all the way down to your little everyday things, making little areas of your home nice and comfortable, and enjoying your meal, setting a nice table and really sitting down and enjoying it. Or when you're at a cafe drinking a coffee, you're paying attention and you notice how the cup looks and the cute little cookie, and you're just enjoying your day and looking around, and those kind of things are really motivating to me as an artist, and just personally, like I love just noticing my surroundings and people watching and that kind of thing. And it's a place where you can really do that. Partly also because it's a place where you're on your feet a lot. You're walking around, you're out in the town, seeing people, walking to do your daily errands, go and get your baguette and all that. It's a stereotype, but it's also true. And so I love that, and I want to live a lifestyle like that where I'm walking daily for the exercise and just the enjoyment of enjoying your surroundings and being part of them.
Well, what do we like about Austin?
What
Tex-Mex food.
Tex-Mex food, the friendliness of the people.
People are friendly, yeah.
It is a creative city. It's a college town, and it has it's always been a creative town, lots of artists and musicians.
Yeah.
Though that's changing a bit with the economy and all that, unfortunately, but there is still a very creative, open-minded spirit here, which we love.
Yeah.
And I love the weather in the spring and the fall.
Yeah.
But not
The summer is
not summer or winter.
is unfortunate.
Speaking of winter, I'm gonna be in France all winter this year.
What?
I'm very. Oh, I didn't tell you.
No.
I'm very excited. I'm gonna be there December through February, so really looking forward to that. Seeing some Christmas markets and stuff like that.
Who do we know any French people, or do we have any French?
Do we have
family?
any family that lives in France? I do not.
No. I have an aunt who is French, but she is married to a German. My uncle, and they live in Germany, and I know her family, but she doesn't live in France anymore. So.
But we both spent a lot of time in Europe. We both lived in Germany at different times in our life, and we have friends that we've already met. We have some friends from Austin who are French who are moving back to France. Yeah. So we do know some people there, and it doesn't feel completely foreign to us. So that's nice.
Yeah.
Are you planning to travel more through France, and where's the first place you want to go? Definitely yes. I want to see every corner of France eventually, and we've seen a lot of it, but we haven't really been to the eastern side at all.
The continental side, more like
or towards the Alps or anything.
Belgium, Alps,
except for Lille, up in the northeast corner, basically on the border of Belgium. We actually looked at a house there. Didn't end up buying that one, obviously, but it's a cool town, and we like that part of France. The first place I want to go is in France. I'm not sure because we've seen a lot of it. I would like to see more of the seaside. Oh, I would like to go to Nice.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that.
That would be nice.
That'd be really nice in Nice. And I know this isn't France, but I'd like to go to Belgium because there's a lot of Art Nouveau architecture and interiors there that I would really love to see. A friend of mine recently went and posted a bunch of pictures, and I was dying over them. I really want to go check that out. And I just want to see a lot more of Europe. That's one of the reasons why we want to move there, is so that we can travel all around without it being a huge international flight. Yeah.
Yeah.
What would be the first place you want to go?
Let's see. We spent some time in Normandy. I like the Alsace.
Oh yeah.
Burgundy. I can drink my way through Burgundy, no problem. I'm also fascinated and interested in the Mediterranean, all of that. Although it's probably a little bit spendy for me to spend too much time there, but visiting would be nice. And I'm also fascinated by the Pyrenees, the border with Spain, and how the two cultures kind of mix. And I know that people in the Pyrenees have their own culture, which is this blend. I want to go and visit that and experience that.
I want to go to the Alsace region during Christmas time.
That'd be nice too.
Really cute.
Yeah, and then many trips to Paris, day trips to actually see smaller.
Paris can be overwhelming, but it's really nice to spend a little bit of time there with a targeted plan. Like, I want to go to this museum, or I want to go to this neighborhood, and not try to do too much, but just really enjoy one specific area. Yeah. And that's why I wanted to be within day trip distance of it. The next one is from Kelly O'Connor, and they say, when will you start the remodeling process on your beautiful home in France? And this question was posted before we posted our previous video where we showed some work that we just had done. And also, can you tell us a little more about the business you'll have once you move over there permanently? And have you met your neighbors?
It's a lot.
Yeah, so start with the remodeling.
Yeah. So when will we start the remodeling?
Well, we already have.
We have started the remodeling.
We just did.
Yeah, even the first day that we were there, we started doing things like pulling up, carpet and some of the moldy coverings. But now we had a contractor come in and rewire the downstairs to current code. They put in a lot more plugs and dual light switches and put in it's plasterboard, and then now we can paint it. So it's already started. I've started remodeling one of the little bathrooms, but there's a big change with that. That's on hold right now because of another exciting thing, which we'll get to.
A new mystery.
A new mystery. So it's underway, and it's a long-term project. So we're prioritizing the ground floor so that we can actually have our events, and we're prioritizing the garden as well because it's like an outdoor living space. So
yeah.
anyway,
So speaking of the events,
yep.
They asked about our business. So I envision it kind of like an artsy creative day camp for adults. And what I mean is I want to do art workshops.
Macaroni noodles?
Yes. I am a former art teacher. I taught high school art in Washington State, and I love to teach drawing, and that would probably be one of my main focuses. But then I also would love to work with other artists I know, or some I've yet to meet, both local artists and people who want to travel over. And aside from just the visual arts, we can also do things like writing workshops or small musical performances or, anything that makes sense on a small scale, because our workshops would be like 12 participants at most, pretty small groups. And we do not want to run a guest house. That's something we've decided. And so another reason we chose Amboise is that there's a lot going on for people to venture out on their own and do things on their own. And there's a bazillion places to stay in Amboise. There's
nicer than our house.
Yeah, there's all kinds, every budget. There's hotel rooms, there's Airbnbs, there's traditional bed and breakfast. There's everything all within walking distance of our house. Mm-hmm. So our idea is that you would just come for the day, and we could have multi-day events like retreat style where it's like 4 or 5 days. But the difference is you only come for the day, and then we'd serve maybe breakfast and lunch or one or the other or something, and then in the evening though you're on your own to go rest at your hotel, go out to dinner, do whatever, and have some downtime, have a break from us, because we all need our downtime.
It can only take so much of us.
Yeah, and also we're both introverts, so we need our downtime.
Gotta recharge.
So in the evening, it's like bye. Yeah. But then the next day, you join us again for another day of fun-filled activities.
Yeah, variety is the spice of life.
Yeah.
Getting a little variety. Go do other things, come to the
workshop. And with our workshops, we like to play tour guide to guests. Like we could take you to some of our favorite places, have a field trip to a castle or two, and do some drawing of the castle. It'd be really fun, or whatever we're working on in the workshop. And then the way it would work at our house is that even though it's kind of on the small side for an events place, like I said, it would be a small number of people, and we would use a combination of the salons and the dining room and the garden, using all of those areas for different parts of the workshop. Oh, and cocktail hour in the library, of course.
Hopefully, yeah. Yeah, the other thing I want to add is that we are not the type of people that want to go move somewhere and then only have like-minded people or just Americans around us. So we intend to learn French. We are learning French, and I also speak German. The idea is that it won't just be a workshop just for other Americans to show up, or even just English. So we're hoping to make something exciting and interesting enough even for people from Europe to actually want to partake in, because who doesn't want to do an art workshop in a garden, right?
Yeah. So it's pretty open-ended still at this point, but those are the kind of things we're thinking about. That's what we have in mind. If you have been to any kind of events like that, I know a lot of artists now are doing these retreats in Europe, especially with a company called Uptrek. I follow a lot of artists on Instagram and YouTube and stuff, and I see them doing these things, and so I know there's a big audience for it, and they look really fun and really interesting. And we probably would not be partnering with a company like that. We'd just be managing it ourselves because we don't have to worry about your accommodations and, it's catering and things like that.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear from you if you've been to anything like that though, or if you have any ideas, or any people you think we should network with or we should talk to, because we would like to involve local people. Like if we do want to have a catered lunch, we'd love to have a local person who does that, whatever.
For sure.
So if you have any ideas for us, let us know. Have you met your neighbors?
Have we met our neighbors? Yes, we have met some neighbors.
Some. Yeah.
Some wonderful people. Yeah. I thought when we moved that we would be very lonely at first, and people would be kind of staring at us and be like whispering like, oh, they bought that house.
Those weird Americans.
And it's exactly the opposite. I mean, it's not going to be like in Texas where everyone just like, how you doing? I mean, the French are reserved, and that's what I love because I'm kind of reserved, but they are also very, well, everyone we met is very, very friendly.
Yes.
And we love it. Well, except for that one guy.
He's good.
No.
Well,
we there's some really great people.
yeah, we've met some lovely neighbors, and we have also met a couple of people in town that we keep seeing over and over. And so it's...
And they actually recognize us.
Yeah, they recognize us. My favorite coffee shop, I'm a regular there.
Yeah.
And
we've had interactions because we have shutters on the front, all the windows, and in the morning you open them up, and at night you close them. And in those moments you see your neighbors and they will wave at you, they will say bonjour.
We had a funny little conversation across with a neighbor early on because we had left our attic light on and she could see it from her window, and she was trying to tell us and I couldn't understand because of my limited French, and finally I understood she was saying, you left your attic light on, and it had already been on for a couple days at that point.
Yeah.
And so,
She's very cute.
and so it was very funny. We were laughing and we thanked her, and and I was like, oh, when I finally got it, I was like, oh, and then she like gave me the thumbs up back. It was very cute. And our neighbors that we've actually met in person and talked to more have helped us with a lot of things, with some deliveries that were made and stuff like that. And then we also have already met some other expats through the local expat group, which is very active in Amboise and surrounding towns. If you're looking for something like that, it's called Loire Connection, but with an X. And it's on, there's a Facebook group run by Summer Jeannot. So who's a travel agent and runs a very fun, very active group. And it's not just for expats, it's also for any people who want to practice their English. It's kind of a two-way street. Like you can practice French and or English with people who are speaking or learning both of those languages.
Very useful.
It's very cool.
You want to do one of these? And we're drinking wine.
It's wine time.
Wine time. Yeah.
To Q&As. Our next question is from Mean Kitty. I recognize that name because I've seen your comments before, so thank you for multiple comments and viewings. Are you going to permanently move to France? Are you learning the language? How far from Paris are you located? And then they also say, enjoy your videos. Thank you. So we've already answered most of this, I think. Yes, we are going to permanently move to France, but it'll probably be another year or two before we can. Are you learning the language? Yes, we are trying our best. It is it's difficult as an adult to learn a new language, but we're trying and we really want to. And
it's fun.
It's fun, and we look forward to being able to talk to people in French and not be so frustrated or feeling left out of conversations and things. And although we do have Google Translate on our phones these days, you can't have a real conversation with that, and it only translates like textbook French. You won't learn any of the little slang or colloquial type things. So yes, we are definitely trying to learn the language. How far from Paris are you located? 2 hours, as we said before. And then the next question is from Karen Hitchman, who says, I love your vlogs. Thank you. And what is the time frame that that you put on the renovation? And when are you planning on starting the new art business?
Renovation there is no time frame.
No.
Years, but not too many. I would say within 5 years, but
Yeah, luckily we don't have a hard deadline like some people do, especially people who have the big chateau where they have to start making money from it as soon as possible.
yeah, we don't have to make money.
Yeah, by design, we have chosen a house that didn't need a lot of work right away. It's livable, and we don't have to pour a ton of money into it right up front or make a lot of money from it.
Yeah, it's not a business, so
Yeah.
it's just our home.
Yeah, so our timeline is pretty open ended. We'd like
Yeah.
for it to be as quick as possible, but you
Yeah,
know,
and we want to do the ground floor is what's most important because it's where people who are invited in will be. The upstairs is for us to live in, so we can do that in a later stage.
right. Our guest rooms upstairs are just for friends and family. So when we have guests at our workshops, they won't be going upstairs. It'll all take place on the lower level.
Yeah.
And so about that, the question was, when are you planning on starting the new art business? When we have the salons decorated and furnished, and you know the garden nice and all that, the kitchen remodeled, that would be nice because it'll be a lot more practical and
Yeah.
convenient after we do our remodel. So it's basically just when we feel ready. We don't have to start at a certain time to start bringing in money, like I said. So it's more of something for us to do for fun and to earn a little money, but we don't have to start it at a certain time or make a certain amount of money from it. So
That's very French.
what?
To be like, hey, it is what it is.
Well, you know, c'est la vie. So
It's almost like Larry David. Yeah, it is what it is.
so anyway, well, I would say whenever we're there for a long period of time, if we were able to go for a couple months or something, and the house is ready, we could start having a workshop or two even before we've moved over there permanently.
Yeah.
So we'll keep you informed of all that. Thanks for asking, and we'll let you know.
Yep.
And then the next question is from Sherry Whitehead, I think. I'm sorry, yeah, this is like so tiny.
Can I see?
Yeah, what does it say?
Yeah, Sherry Whitehead.
Sherry
7-2.
You don't have to say the number.
Sherry Whitehead.
Just Sherry Whitehead. Thank you, Sherry. Said, when will you make France your home? So like we've said, hopefully within a year or two.
So first of all, to be able to get residency in France, I am actually working on obtaining my German citizenship because my family is German. My mother is German, so I'm working on that. And by getting citizenship to any EU country, then you can get residency in any EU country. That's the beauty of the European Union in the first place. So I'm working on that, and that's probably a 1 to 2 year process. But I'm very optimistic that that'll happen. And so with that, then we could get residency and be able to stay there permanently. So that's kind of underway, and that's the only way to do it is to actually to have the proper residency to live there. And then the other part is I do have a career and a job in healthcare IT or healthcare software. So that is not super transportable with my current employer. So there will be a change there that will have to happen for me to permanently move over to France, whereas Beth doesn't have that constraint. So we decided to kind of like cross each bridge one at a time, since there's no reason on having some grand plan. It's a grand idea. We have the steps we need to take. The first one is me getting my German citizenship. So
This actually is a perfect segue into the next question.
Yeah.
From what's the name?
the next one,
Yeah.
oh, that's Janet Wan.
Janet asks, why do you and Patrick always have to be apart. Do you have a business you run? And when will you be able to be there permanently? So the reason we're often there apart, I go there for a longer length of time, is because I don't have a job right now that I have to be at or reporting to or anything like that. Whereas Patrick does. So luckily he has a job where he can take a lot of vacation time and use that to go to France.
Personal time.
Personal time. He can take personal time and go to France, but within reason. So he usually goes over for only 2 weeks. This winter he's coming over for 3 weeks, whereas I can go basically as long as I want.
You can go for as long of a time as the French government will allow you.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I can go as long as I want within the limits of my tourist visa, which is what I'm using right now.
Yeah, which is a lot of time.
It's essentially half the year, but it has to be spread out. And so that's why a lot of people do 3 months there, 3 months back home. Because that's the way to get the most time out of it.
Yeah.
So
that's why we spend
time apart. Yeah.
Also, absence makes the Also, absence makes the fart grow fonder. Also, absence makes the heart grow fonder. So, it's good to spend time apart.
We're both very independent and
it's
have
good
a lot
to
of
spend
things.
time apart, and then when you come back together,
Yeah.
it just creates excitement in life. So we have an exciting project, and we also have our own interests and lives, and then you come and go, and it's
and
good.
when I can go over there for longer periods of time, I can get more done than if we always traveled together.
Yeah.
For instance, a lot of the errand running, looking for things for the house, getting things set up, like having our stove delivered, having our washing machine delivered, those kind of things take up a lot of time, because everything takes time to find it, schedule out delivery, blah, blah, blah. So you can't do much in 2 weeks. And so that's why I go for longer, and I can get more things done. And then when Patrick is over there, he does more of the DIY stuff that really only he can do, like plumbing,
Yeah, and even that DIY, when you are going to a foreign land, whatever you think you're going to get done, cut it in half, and then maybe cut that in half again too. You think you know what you're going to do, but the reality is everything changes.
Everything takes a long time.
But once you accept that, then it's all great, because then you just set your goals lower. But anyway, that's different subject. So
yeah. Okay, so Michelle, read the name. Michelle something and read the question.
Michelle Obama?
No, come on.
Okay. Michelle. Oh, I think it's Michelle Sera.
Oh, okay. French
Michelle
name.
Sera. I'm still learning French, but I believe that is a French person. I don't know why you're watching our videos, but
Thank you for watching.
thank you for watching. What do you like or dislike in France? It couldn't be a broader question.
Yeah, so we already talked about a lot of things we like in
Yeah.
France. And what do we dislike about France? I would say there aren't a lot of major dislikes. The one thing that is
You gotta be careful.
I'm being honest, but
There's always gonna be something.
the one thing I dislike at the moment is not being able to communicate well.
Yeah.
And that's my issue to solve, And then the other thing I would say is the pace of things taking a long time, longer than we're used to, which is a lovely thing that we look forward to getting used to. But right now, as a foreigner coming over and needing to do a lot of practical things and setting up a house and a life there, things like getting a bank account, getting your utilities turned on, getting your phone, blah, 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 is difficult because everything takes a long time. People take a long time getting back to you. Even daily things like going to the pharmacy or the post office, you'll be waiting in line a really long time, which we're not used to. We're used to things being very quick and efficient.
Convenient.
But on the other hand, we always feel rushed and in a hurry. And in France, you don't feel that. When you're waiting in line at the post office or the pharmacy, what I have experienced is at first I was like, God, this is taking forever. Like I just need to buy this deodorant at the pharmacy, and I've been in line for like 20 minutes. But the reason is because the pharmacists are taking their time with each customer, having a conversation with them, answering all their questions. No one is in a hurry, and no one rushes you. So you wait in line knowing when it's your turn, you'll get that same individual attention and no one will be rushing you. Right now, it can sometimes be annoying and frustrating, but I don't need to be in a hurry. Like, why am I in such a hurry? Like, just slow down and enjoy your time. Do a little people watching, a little window shopping, whatever, while you're waiting in line. And just, don't be in such a hurry.
Well, everybody I know that's from, I guess, France and other places like Germany and stuff that come here and live in America, the convenience, they love it. It's so nice.
It's convenient.
Right, but like when you come from that, then it's and then you go to another place.
It's just different mindset.
There's a price to pay for the convenience, which is like everything is very like quick and transactional.
And you always feel rushed. Like if you are taking a long time, people in line behind you get annoyed and start huffing and puffing or complaining. Well, in France, they don't do that. Everyone just waits patiently.
Yeah. So, well, anyway. I mean, no matter how we have our feet on the ground, we're not naive. I guess we're not even optimistic. Like we have a good balance, right? But like we barely know the French culture. And so I know that there will be plenty of things that will come up that we will be unexpected and we won't like. But I just feel as though as long as you understand that no matter where you are in the world, there are things you like and don't like, and you just as long as the things you like outweigh everything else, it's better.
Yes, they definitely do.
Yeah.
I mean, and the other thing is like most businesses or people you need to communicate with for things like your phone service or a delivery or whatever. Here, we're used to doing almost all of that by email or text and
online or whatever. Yeah.
Online, on a website, signing up for things on a website, getting a bank account.
Not in France.
It's super easy here. Just get a bank account. And over in France, we're still having difficulty with those kind of things.
Yeah.
Because they just do it differently.
Yeah.
Everything is meant for you to come in person.
Or on the phone.
Or on the phone, both of which are difficult when you don't speak the language and or you physically are not there.
Yeah.
So we do wish we could do more things online or by email. And that is a dislike right now. But again, it's purely because of our circumstances right now. It's not really...
Yeah. Here in the U.S., like the idea of answering the phone or talking to someone on the phone in the last, I would say 5 or 10 years has just like declined to nothing. Like it used to be, you just picked up the phone and called people and talked to them. We don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to do that anymore. Young and old, they just don't want to do that anymore. So we're just used to things being done now through email. You can email some landscape company and get an answer, and you can have something ordered, whatever. Well, in France, they still like to talk to people in person or on the phone. Talking on the phone is still just the go-to. And that's really difficult when you can't speak the language. And when you talk on the phone, you have no visual cues, and the speed is usually twice as fast as anything. So that is a big challenge, and I am up for the challenge. I intend to learn French definitely beyond a beginner, and when I have that first phone call that I can make in French, I can't wait. I can almost get there, but yeah.
Well, we kind of rehearse it. Like I'll actually write down what I think I'm gonna need to say. I'll kind of practice. But then they always throw you a curveball, and you're like, oh, I don't know.
Well, it's like when you go out to a restaurant, like you hear the same verbal cues, and you know what's coming, and then you're like, I got this, and then they throw something at you, and you're like, I don't know what you're talking about.
And it could be something really simple, like which sauce would you like on your burger?
Yeah,
but you weren't ready for that question, and you don't understand it.
Yeah, but I always think it's humorous, and usually this is a big shout out to Amboise, and that is that no one's ever rude.
No.
I don't think I've encountered any rude people at all in Amboise, and usually they're humored that I'm trying. It's great.
You hear this a lot that people in France really appreciate when you try to speak French.
Yeah.
And that is very
And I
true,
love that.
and we've experienced that a lot. And
Everywhere. In Paris.
even. This is our number one travel tip. Learn how to say bonjour and say it to everyone you meet. The way they see it is they're in their own little bubble until you say bonjour. That's the start of the conversation, the start of your interaction. And that's what a lot of us American tourists get wrong, especially in Paris when people are busy and hectic, and you go up to them and you just start jabbering away in English. They find that extremely rude. And you will get a million times more friendly service and more fun interactions by just saying bonjour.
Right.
So, and then of course, if you know other phrases like other niceties and thank you and other pleasantries in French, even better. But even if you're really struggling and you only say bonjour, it's gonna be so much better. There's a great book called The Bonjour Effect that really explains this well. It goes into a lot of detail about the manners, the cultural differences, that you might encounter in France that are often misunderstood and undervalued. And it's really a great read, and it really helped us understand how important that is.
Last question.
Last question is, I can't read it. You read it.
What does Patrick do for a job?
Who's it by?
Lindsay Robinson. I'm a stay-at-home mom. No, I work from home. I work for a healthcare tech company. I do software.
Programming.
Yeah,
I don't even
I
really
work for,
understand what he does.
Yeah, but I work for a very, what I would say, a modern tech company where I have a lot of autonomy and freedom and stuff like that, and it's allowed us to do this. So.
So those are all the questions, but I would like to take a moment just to tell you all about the art I've been making and that I'm going to have for sale very soon. That will help us make a little bit of money to put towards our renovation and getting the house ready sooner, so we can have those art workshops sooner. So if you'd like to support us that way by buying some art, it would be awesome.
Yeah, we're not doing Patreon.
No, grab that. I'm sorry, I have our little buddy on my lap here. I've been working on some watercolors based on photography of our rose garden. Well, it's a flower garden, but in this particular series for right now, I'm concentrating on the roses. That amazing garden we have at our house that we luckily just got with the house, and I'm selling the originals. This is the actual painting. I drew it with pen and painted it with gouache, which is like opaque watercolor. So you get a lot of watercolor effects with it as well. And they'll arrive in a mat, ready to frame, in a standard 8x10 frame. So it will look something like a ready to gift or ready to frame and hang work of art. Also, if you have a little tiny spot, you just need a little piece of art, it will also fit in a standard 5x7 frame. So these would be great gifts, or for you if you just need a little piece of art for your walls and you want to support our endeavors, that would be awesome. And they're going to be a special price with this first series, only $35 with the mat included and
Ready to frame.
And
One of a kind.
Each one is an actual one of a kind painting. They're not prints. And for our followers, you have the opportunity to sign up for my mailing list and have early access to them because it's a small collection, about 15 or so only. I don't know. I hope they'll sell out. Who knows? Maybe no one wants them, but I hope you do. And so they might sell out quickly, and you'll get early access if you sign the mailing list, and you'll also get entered in a raffle to win one of my paintings.
Yeah.
So
and also, if you order 2, you can get 2 for $70.
Right. Great. So the link for my mailing list will be in the description below. So thanks for listening. Thanks for writing in some questions. Thanks for watching our videos.
Thanks for caring about us.
Yeah, thank you. We really appreciate it, and we're glad that you're finding our videos interesting. We hope you keep watching, and please give us any feedback that you have in the comments. Thanks.
But only good feedback.
No, we're open to all feedback. We don't always answer all the comments, but we do always read them all. It's just sometimes gets kind of hectic to keep up with them, but we do always read them, and we really appreciate them.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.